There's one skill deficit in elementary schoolers that often goes unnoticed until it's too late to do anything about it. As a school occupational therapist, I've worked with children who have this skill deficit, and it impacts their academics. It impacts their ability to complete assignments in class. It impacts their ability to focus. And most importantly, this skill deficit impacts their self-esteem and their concept of how smart they are. And that skill is a child's handwriting. As a child gets further and further into elementary school and writing demands get higher, if they're using too much of their brain power on forming letters, it's going to impact their spelling, and it's going to impact their ability to get their great creative thoughts out onto paper. When handwriting impacts a child's ability to show how much they know, it's impacting their learning, and it's important that we start early to make sure that a child's handwriting stays on track. Now, I do want to differentiate because there's a difference between messy handwriting and non-functional handwriting. If another person cannot read what the child is writing, it's non-functional. My handwriting is messy, it's functional. So here are some things we can do for kids to make sure their handwriting stays on track. By the time they're in first grade, I want their handwriting to look like this: stabilizing the ulnar side of their hand on the table and writing by moving their fingers. If they're not doing that, or even if they're using a fisted grasp, here's what we can do. For children who use a fisted grasp, we can use a triangular pencil with them, and we can pair this with YouTube videos, both in the classroom and at home, that talk about pinching your pencil. There are a couple that are alligator themed that are very popular in first graders that encourage them to have a dynamic tripod grasp, which becomes very important in first grade. We can also snap their crayons in half. So when a child colors with a full crayon, they can use a fisted grasp. But when we've snapped the end off, it's so short that they can't fist it. They have to pinch it, and it's a great strengthener for these muscles that we use for a dynamic tripod grasp. We can use activities like bingo daubers, which strengthen their fine motor skills. Classroom tongs. These are some of my favorite for fine motor skills. Kids have a ton of fun picking up pom-poms with these. You can have them sort. There are lots of different activities we can do with tongs. Kids don't even realize how hard their hands are working when they're using these. And finally, there are lots of fun activities we can do where a child is peeling stickers. And again, they're using that 3-finger grasp when they're peeling.